So I've been thinking, I think that everyone in cryptocurrency right now is probably pretty lucky. We could potentially make a lot of money investing in technology / assets, whatever you want to know it as, very early versus the normal person. This video, we're going to go through 7 altcoins that I think could, every single one of them, potentially could be a $1 billion market capitalization coin, which is scary. And again, not financial advice. Please do not put your house on these. Please ensure that you have correct education. And if you want to learn, go to the link below where it has Learning Crypto, where you can learn. And there's all kinds of stuff on there, right? Let's get into it. Now, the first one's a very obvious one, right? Let's talk about it. This, yes, it's going to be probably become one of the, in my opinion, one of the juggernauts of the space. This is a potential monster, Mantra Network. It's been kind of in the works for a while and it's now here. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but first, Ethereum virtual machine equivalent ZK application platform that is scalable through Celeste and Polygon and all that kind of stuff. It's good. It's also a Polkadot parachain. As I say, don't want to go too deep, but this is kind of like the next level up in terms of projects, in terms of where we're going. The multi-level element to it, huge. Low fees, high scalability, developer friendly, which is kind of what you want. ZK use cases, a growing ecosystem, and non-invasive compliance. Basics, right? But the reason why I want to talk about it is because of its clout. Look at it. Look at that. Already. It's new. But before I really get deep in terms of the other assets, right? This fits the blueprint of what I look for very, very well. Kind of, ish. I've spoken a lot. And if you're in my Patreon, you'll know this is one of my investing strategies, right? In crypto, it's very cyclical. When you go to, say, page 6, right? You're going to find some scrap heap stuff, which back in the day were the best. If you know this asset, if you genuinely know what Verge is, comment below. This was an absolute giga chad of a pump back in the first big boy cycle that we had. Absolute madness. Now, it's pretty much dead. Let's be fair. It's not really doing much. Now, when we go back and we talk about cyclical stuff, a lot of assets are like that. So when we talk about the blueprint, which I have spoken about, you are looking for assets that have came out before a bull cycle or have never really seen one before, i.e. came out at a really bad time, i.e. the peak of the bull cycle in the previous cycle, if that makes sense. You know, parachains, for example, Polkadot. Previous cycles such as Zilliqa, where it came out in like February 2018 and it was one of the first of a thing and it kind of didn't do anything for years until the bull market came around, then it made a lot of gains, right? Those sort of things are, in my opinion, really good. And every single coin here kind of fits that mold where it's had a bit of a cycle or it's never had a cycle at all, which is important for gains, right? And I talk about it a lot because it works. Because when you are looking at these assets, they're just building, growing network effect. And already Mantra, right, has never seen a bull market before, come out before it, and it's already got that on the table. It's going to get probably a lot of use cases and users. And obviously, yes, you can look at all the ecosystem and what's going to be built on it, and obviously the parachains and all the technology around it. Probably going to do very well, just saying. The next one is a coin that I've spoken about recently and one that I invest in, and I've talked about what is coming very, very soon with it, is Rose, right? It is, don't get me wrong, nearly $1 billion in terms of market capitalization right now. But their DEX Illuminex is coming out very soon. Vine Money, which will be their stable coin, as well as more assets coming too. It's about to get serious, right? When we talk about Rose, it's, you know, essentially privacy elements, Ethereum virtual machine. There's a lot of nuances to this, which is very, very confusing to the average Joe. When we talk about it, let me just go and show you kind of how it all works and what it's kind of here. You know, you've got Sapphire, Emerald. There's a lot of stuff to it. But when we talk about Ethereum virtual machine, that's huge. The Sapphire side of it is really, really easy to use. I've literally just bridged my Rose to it. Simple. And I'm really looking forward to using the DEX that's coming out very soon. Obviously, the Emerald stuff as well. You know, it's all here, as well as WebAssembly. It's simple. If I'm going to be really critical, I need a new wallet. The wallet isn't the best. It's a bit old school, but maybe in the future that will be coming. But other than that, when we talk about how this works and ultimately the privacy side of it and the layer of privacy, scalability, the speed, the efficiency, the Ethereum virtual machine, there's nothing like this when we talk about in terms of privacy on the Ethereum network. So that has something going for it, right? The next obvious pick, and again, I spoke about this not too long ago in my undervalued altcoin list, Metis, because it is a lot lower value than everything else. When we talk about how long has it been around, well, it came out mid-cycle, realistically, right? Came out that sort of time frame. Halfway through the cycle, we've already had a big 50% dip essentially in terms of the cryptocurrency market at that point. And yes, it got hyped all the way up to $318. It also melted all the way down to like 10, right? Obviously, yes, risk reward isn't really there, but this could be a multi-billion-dollar market when the herd comes back, because it's kind of obvious when we talk about in terms of scaling solutions, permissionless layer 2 network. Now we all know how CAC Ethereum is. Sorry, it is. But the transactions are going up the blocks, the wallet addresses, the gas fee is very, very efficient, and token value locked, getting towards $1 billion. This has already got more locked up in it versus its entire market cap. That's a good sign. That's a really good sign. So when we talk about when the herd come back and ultimately trying to use other ecosystems and shit coins and meme coins or whatever, Metis will probably be one of the best places to go to. And I've already covered it in a full video in terms of all the different stuff. You know, when we talk about the bridging, when we talk about all the DEXs that they've got, little projects here and there, as well as the amount of money they're throwing at stuff in terms of their ecosystem, right? Their grant program is huge and they're encouraging a lot of people to go and say, come on to us, we can develop. Yeah. That's what you want, right? Same with NIA. I mentioned that yesterday in my video. NIA's got a huge Horizon program, which is going to kick off their entire cycle, essentially. Huge. And again, Metis follows that. So something new in my life is HydraDX. It is actually relatively new anyways. It's only been out since literally the start of 2023. So it's just less than a year old, which is good to see, right? This is a liquidity kind of ocean of liquidity for Polkadot in terms of swapping, dollar cost averaging, providing liquidity, right? I used it yesterday for the first time properly. Wow, so good. Now, when we talk about this, Polkadot, the bigger Polkadot gets, the more assets going onto here, the more use case, utility, you get the idea. This is ridiculously easy to use and I absolutely love it. And I'll show you it in a second. In terms of what it is, obviously you can see there's liquidity elements to it, obviously providing liquidity. Trading, you can trade, swap. There's a number of assets on there. Personally, I would love more. Probably going to happen anyways. Huge. Dollar cost average on a DEX. What? Yeah, pretty huge. Obviously, you can get, rewards for doing liquidity farming and stuff like that, which is huge. And yeah, treasury side of it, it's got everything you need on here. In terms of if you want to know the multifacets of it, they've got a docs, page essentially with absolutely everything. And the thing that I like about this is they're trying to make it simple. They're trying to remove the element of getting liquidated. This is what their branding is all about. Stay hydrated, don't get liquidated sort of vibe. Massive for the new person, right? When we look at it in terms of the platform, this is a swap side of it. It's an absolute piece of piss, right? So in terms of if you wanted to just trade in your DOT, and say if you got a load of DOT and you wanted to buy, say, Centrifuge, you can see the price in terms of DOT, how much it is, and the value of it. Obviously, if you wanted to kind of grow your DOT, you can on this by basically putting DOT into some parachains, swapping it when they're much higher, right? Which is kind of what you want. You got OTC, over-the-counter trading. You got dollar cost averaging, stuff like that, which is mad when you think about it in terms of technology. And so obviously this one as well. So really good bit of kit. Absolutely happy with it. The TVL is starting to grow and grow. Obviously you can get all your farming rewards here. In terms of cross-chain, super simple. Obviously this is the value of it going up. So as I say, there's only 14 assets available on here at the moment. When that adds a zero to it and there's potentially a lot more things going on it, just going to say that's probably going to be a lot higher TVL, probably an undervalued asset. So HydraDX definitely on my radar, really like it. You've probably seen that I've got a small little sliver of it, but 160 million market cap. What if Polkadot absolutely flies? What about if there's a lot of shit coins in the world? In Polkadot, meme coins, dead, pink, etc. is coming. Could well be worth a hell of a lot of money. Next one, an obvious pick if you are into your Near protocol. I could have also picked Octopus as well, but the reason why I've gone with this one, and it's kind of the simplistic approach, is the Ethereum virtual machine, right? That is the highest compatibility element to a lot of things. Now, when we talk about this, the next generation Ethereum compatible blockchain and ecosystem that runs on the Near protocol. This is kind of like if you know Moonbeam, for example, on Polkadot. This is their equivalent to it. Total value locked 23 million. Projects on Aurora already 226. Token price relatively good. As I say, you could also pick the likes of Octopus and stuff, which is a little bit different. But this to me looks the best in terms of taking that use case of people, which is obviously most projects, Ethereum virtual machine, and bunging it on theirs and utilizing a very quick and efficient blockchain, which I covered yesterday, which was, Near protocol, right? When we talk about the tokenomics to this, and certainly that situation of like market cap, it's only $100 million, which is ridiculous. And again, it fits that blueprint model where it came out right at the peak of the cycle, right? Literally the 11th of November, 12th of November, 2021 was literally the peak of the cycle. Obviously, it had a bit of a hype run and then died. This could be worth a hell of a lot more, in my opinion, right? When we talk about where it could go in terms of market capitalization, if looking at all-time highs, it's going to become a pretty big asset potentially. And I have said at the start of this video, wouldn't surprise me at all if all of these hit $1 billion just due to how the markets run. In terms of use case, utility, when the herd come back, it's huge, right? Another pick that I've been looking at buying, but never really pulled the trigger on it, is Aachain, right? When we talk about this, I've talked about this before in a previous video, like a couple of months ago, has a lot of things going for it. A lot of real use cases. You got a little bit of AI in there as well. Oracles, a little bit different. Now, this is very much, in my opinion, undervalued. This is, 87 million market cap. Supply-wise, quite a lot of it out. And again, we talk about release dates. Came out in 2020 at the start of the cycle. Had one cycle, but not much going for it. Melted all the way down, been consolidating down here for a while, then we could well see it potentially getting adopted. Now, when we talk about what's been happening on here, they've just been building. Their ecosystem's getting bigger, their partnerships are getting pretty big. You probably recognize quite a few on here as well, which is really good to see. Obviously, Injective, A-Star, you got, ridiculous when you think of it, even Oasis. Pretty good, right? There's quite a bit there. So when we talk about that as well, we talk about accelerator programs. A lot of projects right now have accelerator programs where they are literally going to throw things at people in terms of just, develop with us, build with us, do all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it's a huge factor when you look at projects and how they are developing, how they're building. Because when you start to look at it in terms of what's actually happening, we can see here, like it's an active chain. It's active, it's running nicely, which is what you want to see. Problem is, there's a lot of projects, as I said at the start of this video, where they fall by the wayside because they've been out for too long and new shiny stuff comes. The shiny stuff is when they've been out and have had a slight cycle, not been building, but they've been developing like an absolute workhorse for a long time. Lastly, and the one that could well do very well, if this does hit $1 billion market cap, I will be ecstatic. Now, I read recently in an article from CoinGecko that one of the top narratives of the entire industry might well be liquid staking derivatives, which is what Bifrost is all about. When you talk about this in simple terms, and I've did dedicated videos on this before, Polkadot ecosystem, liquid staking, where you can stake your Ethereum, your DOT, your Glimmer, your A-Star, Mantra now, all kinds of stuff, very efficiently on-chain with the protocol of Polkadot, which is the most secure chain out there in my opinion, and for a much better use, i.e. there's the lockup's a lot less, you don't need as much stuff, and it's working very well. Already we're starting to see the TVL of this is absolutely flying. It's way higher than what the market cap of this asset is, which is huge, right? As I say, we're looking at a market capitalization here of 18.3 million. I first covered this about 4. So yeah, it's doing very well. It's a very, very simple little situation. You just go onto it, you plug in your wallet, you cross into that chain, and you press the stake button. And it's hugely quick, satisfying. And you can see the APY, sorry. It's huge. It's brilliant. You are not missing out. And if you wanted to just utilize it using Ethereum, you can. You just plugs in your MetaMask. Unbelievable. There's a link below if you want to jump in. But, you know, because a lot of people do get confused with what's what in terms of there's 2 Bifrost products. This is the main one. Huge. Stake, the V tokens, the swaps, borrowing. You can also vote. You know, I've talked about governance quite a lot. You can vote. So there they are. There's 7 simple picks that have, in my opinion, a decent future in the space. There's a lot of things to talk about regarding each one. But yeah, I do like them all. So there we are. Hope you enjoy. Leave a like, subscribe if you are new. And let me know what you think. Let me know what you think I've missed. There's probably quite a lot I've missed, to be fair. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video.